everybody, and welcome to the July 2020 episode of the BrownieKnits podcast. I'm your host, Gina, also known as BrownieKnits, and this is my little doggie, Lorelai, and she is wearing her birthday hat today because she is 3 today. So, happy birthday, Lorelai! Yay! Just like get this thing off my head. So we will have a little puppy party for her later this evening where she's going to get some doggy ice cream. And then she is a girl who, anytime you take her collar off, she absolutely flips out. Like, she just always likes to have a collar on and that kind of stuff. So she got some collars and flowers for her birthday. So anyway, yeah, it's been a minute since I podcasted. I took June off. I usually take June off, so went ahead even during the pandemic and did that, and we didn't go anywhere. We stayed home because that's what you should be doing right now. So we've continued to quarantine because, you know, pandemic is what you should be doing. So we stayed home. We played a lot of sequence. We kind of did some special foods. We did pick up curbside from a special restaurant for our anniversary that we had during that month, and just kind of, you know, hung out in the backyard a lot. Now we're into that time of summer where it's like sticky hot, so like it's disgusting in the morning, and then by the afternoon there are all kinds of thunderstorms because of the humidity and the temperatures. Did that go down? There you go. Is that better? All right. So yeah, so you hide inside just like you do in winter when it's really cold, and you hide inside. So the last few weeks I've been just knitting a lot inside, listening to audio podcasts, listening to audio books, reading a lot, that kind of thing. But I have a lot of exciting projects to share with you guys because I did skip June. So I don't know how long she'll sit here in this hat. I guess we can just try to see. But anyway, all right. So, I did want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Corey from BrownieKnits. She mentioned watching my podcast in one of her videos recently, and I really appreciate that. So, and if you're new to the podcast, if you came here from BrownieKnits, welcome. If you've been watching the podcast for a while, welcome back. So one of the things that we're doing in 2020, I'm a huge Gilmore Girls fan, thus my little Lorelai here. And so I designed a free cloth for each month of 2020 that's released on the first of each month. And they are dishcloths, washcloths, made out of a low-cost cotton, and the patterns themselves are free. And you can get them at BrownieKnits.com. You can also get them on Ravelry. However, if you are experiencing any readability issues and are uncomfortable on Ravelry at this point, you can go to BrownieKnits.com and download them from there. It does actually download them from Ravelry, but it shouldn't take you to Ravelry to do it since it's a free download. And for any purchase patterns, if you see a for purchase pattern on BrownieKnits.com that you want, and you're unable to use Ravelry right now because of the readability, you can look on Etsy. I am BrownieKnits there as well. If you don't see it up there, because I don't always have all my patterns there, if you don't see it there, just shoot me a quick message and I can upload that for you. No problem. Oh. Can you see anything? No. Am I doggy torturing you? You're going to sleep. I think she'll use the hat as like a way to hide her eyes. Anyway, so the Gilmore Cloth Cow is our tag. Gilmore Cloth KAL. For June, the free pattern was this one titled An Omnia Paratus. And that's for the Life and Death Brigade that Rory is in, along with Logan and Colin and Finn. And the umbrella features prominently in the episode You Jump, I Jump Jack. and is kind of a symbol for the Life and Death Brigade. And yeah, so it's a very simple cloth pattern. It's knitted out of lily, sugar, and cream cotton in their worsted. This is the color jute. And this is, and I wrote this down because I had so much information to tell you guys today, so I wrote everything down. So if you see me looking off, I'm looking at my little notes. Oh yeah, this is sea glass, which I think is just such a pretty color. It's provided in both written and charted form in the free pattern. And yeah, so it's just simple knits and purls. So you do have to count a little bit, but that's it. It's very simple. It's a very beginner pattern. So that's June, again, in Omni Paratus, which stands for Ready for Anything. All right, so I'm sorry, that was the June cloth. No, July cloth. Sorry, that was the July cloth. The August cloth that's getting ready to come out next week, or whenever you watch this, August 1st, 2020, is the Dragonfly Inn Cloth. So again, this is the Dragonfly Inn Cloth, available for free. It is also both written and charted in the pattern. All knits and purls. Again, very simple. Has this nice dragonfly motif. This is the Black Currant colorway in the lily, sugar, and cream cotton worsted. But I think you'll be able to see the dragonfly a little bit better here. Lorelai's trying to yeah, so here's the dragonfly that you can see a little bit better in the yellow. So this is just the yellow colorway. So, oh, she lost her hat. Okay. Do you want to lay down? You don't want anything to do with me? All right. She was a good sport for a little while. So, yeah, you can get that pattern available free. Also on the Brownie, if you're new to the Gilmore Cloth Cowl, on the BrownieKnits.com site, there is a section, there's a teacup that has Gilmore Girls cloth inspired cowl. And if you click on that, you can see all of the ones that have been previously released in 2020. So yeah. All right. Then usually when I knit a pair of socks, like I can be a pretty monogamous knitter, and so if I start a project and I just like go until it's done. This project, however, for whatever reason, I enjoyed it, I like it, I would pick it up, put it down, do something else. Like my focus was really off. So it took me a long time. So I've mentioned these on the podcast episode before, but they're finally finished. And that is my Doctor Who socks. So these are, I didn't use a pattern. I just did it from, like a vanilla sock pattern. So it's 64 stitches. This, by the way, is a navy. It's reading kind of black on my screen, maybe not on yours, but it's a navy. And the yarn is Brenda and Heather Yarns, which you might see online as BAH Yarns. But it stands for Brenda and Heather Yarns. And they have, what is this base? This one is on their softer base because I'm a non-scratchy yarn person, and it is their light foot base. So it has the merino and nylon, and the colorway is Who's Shirt. So it's the new Doctor Who, a female Doctor Who. So that's exciting. I really like that actress and everything that she's done. So I really am enjoying. We taped all the episodes and then have been binging them. And we are an episode and a quarter to being done and caught up. So I really like Doctor Who. So yeah, those are all ready for when winter sets in, and I can put those on my feet and be toasty. All right, so I'm just checking my notes here, which brings up another thing that I've been working on, and that is I had a new journal. So I found this on online, and then I ordered from a different site, or ordered a nameplate because I just wanted to sparkle it up a bit. And then inside, I'm going to show you some blank pages. But inside, I ordered from Etsy, downloaded from Etsy some PDF pages, and then printed them at home for things like podcasts. I'm a huge TV watcher. I love to watch TV. So there's like a TV tracker so you can keep track, because with all the different platforms, I like lose track of where everything is, what I've watched. I'll watch half a season and then get distracted by something else and be like, oh, I don't know what episode I left off on. So this is nice because it lets you see that. But my favorite part, and the main reason that I bought this journal and set it up, was for these reading pages. So you can do the reading challenge and list off the books that you've read. So I'm tracking that there. You can also track for library books. And I haven't been going to the library just out of an abundance of caution. Although my library does have like a curbside drop off and pickup, which is really nice. I'm hoping libraries are doing that kind of more often than not, because that's a nice service. But I've been using the Libby audiobook app, which was new to me. I think it's fairly new because it was always Overdrive before. I love the Libby app. It's so much better in my opinion. So yeah. But then you can also do, and this is so cute, I loved how they did this. I'll show you this page because it's good. So you can do your bookshelf tracker. So this is my second shelf. I have another one before that of books that you already own. And then what I'm doing is just coloring them in once I've read them. And I'm using different colors. These are all in blue because they are books that I read, but books I'm keeping. And then books that I read and I'm going to get rid of will be a different color, because I don't keep a lot of books that I've read. I grew up in a house of where my mom was kind of a collector of things, and it just drove me the other way. So like, I don't like to keep a lot of stuff. So if I've used something, I will pass it along so somebody else can enjoy it. And then it also has these book journal pages, which are really nice because I'm in a book club, and so I can keep my notes as I'm reading the book, and then I'm all prepared for when we have either socially distant or Zoom book club. So yeah, so that was kind of, I'm an organizer geek. It makes me happy to like organize things and all that kind of stuff. So putting together my planner is kind of fun. And I know a lot of people right now are like, why do I need a planner? There's nothing going on because I'm at home. So you can see that's not what I don't use it for the typical like to-do list and things like that. I do have a calendar section in here for things like birthdays, and then I do day by day. I'll say, if there's a chore I want to do that day, or if I have a knitting goal where I want to get something done by a certain time, podcast notes, that kind of thing. I also found a PDF download that you guys might find interesting that is for knitting and crocheting tracking. So I can also like take all my notes on a particular project, and I then found some dot pages, because I know a lot of people like to do the bullet journals. So there are dot pages that came already pre-sized and hole punched, although you can get a hole punch very cheaply from Amazon as well. But there I can take like notes for, you know, what I want to talk about in a podcast and things like that. So anyway, I'm really geeking out over my little planner here. So that was fun. The next thing that I wanted to show you guys is kind of threefold, actually. Let me get everything. All right, so I have this sweater, and it's from a retail shop, and I got it probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago at this point, and it's my favorite sweater. I wear it constantly, and I noticed that it was starting to look really worn, and it's still highly wearable. Honestly, I'll probably wear it for another 5 years, knowing how I am about stuff. I just replaced my nightgowns because there wasn't a single one that was younger. That was not, they were all at least 15 years old. And I'd been complaining about them having holes in them for at least 2 years. So I really use my clothing until I can't. And I'm forced to sneak it out from myself, basically. So anyway, but I just love this. I wear it fall through spring, and it's just comfy, and I love navy and white together, or navy and cream. And so I thought, well, I'm looking for a knit project, and I wonder if I could just get some yarn in those colors, and then just do like a basic top down that kind of looks like it, and then that way I'll have two, and whenever that one kicks off, then I'll be okay. And so I was gonna kind of do it my own thing, and then I went online and started looking at sweaters, and I found this lovely photo of the Seaboard sweater by Tanis from Tanis Fiber Arts. And she sells kits because she has not just her patterns, she's not just a designer, she's also a dyer. And so she had kits of her Seaboard sweater. Oh my gosh, you guys. So it is a bit different from the one that I was wearing all the time, because, here, I'll put my hand in so you can see it. The navy stripes, so first of all, the stripes are thicker, but the navy stripes are actually a punchwork lace pattern, and it is just delicious. Oh, my husband said, do you know how many times you've said you like that, you love that yarn? Because every day that I was knitting with it, I would just be like, it's like butter. It's on her Purewash DK base, and for the size that I made, and you can go and you can order by kits, the size I made came with 3 cream and 3 midnight is the navy color, because there is some variation in the navy. Let's see if you can see it in one of these stripes. You can see some highs and lows in it. And then you can download the pattern. Is for sale online for I think $9. Well worth it. It is a pieced sweater, so it's not in the round. The sleeves are in the round, but the front and the back are made separately, and then the sleeves are worked in the round. Because it's a for purchase pattern, I'm not going to give away too much information, but I am going to talk about a few modifications that I made. I thought this detail from hers was really nice. First of all, she lets you have this opening here, which who can't use that, yeah. And then you have this lovely double cable going up on the side, and it goes all the way up and comes up where you pick up for your sleeves. So it follows all the way up. It's so nice detail. And Very simple to knit. Okay, let's talk gauge. So on the pattern, it has a gauge section and it tells you so many stitches per inch or per 4 inches, whatever, over stockinette. But then if you read further into the pattern, she actually has a paragraph on how to do a test gauge swatch. So don't just look at the front page. Go ahead and read that so that you can do your test gauge that way. And then I was getting, it was telling me I should use either the needle size that was used in the pattern or one bit larger. And that's very unusual for me. I tend to be a little bit of a loose knitter, not as loose as I used to be, but I was still like, eh. So here's what I did. I used a needle size smaller, one smaller for the larger needle size than what she called for in the pattern. But I knew I was getting a little bit tighter than her gauge on that size. So I went up in my sweater size from what I was going to make to fit me. I also didn't want it to be as fitted as it was on her. So I had already picked a size higher than what I would have normally. So I ended up going up like 2 sizes from what I usually would make, because I wanted to be able to wear it with leggings and things like that. So that's one thing that I did different. And so because of that, I kind of ended up with a between inches blocked sweater from what she had in your blocked inches for your different sizes. The modifications that I made for the size that I was making, you would have ended after this cream stripe. I wanted it to end after a blue, and I had plenty to do that, and I wanted the extra length so I could wear it with leggings if I wanted. So I went ahead and did an extra blue. Then the shoulders are a 3 needle bind off where the seam is on the outside. So that's actually a detail. It's the opposite of what we traditionally think. We usually hide those seams, right? We usually put them on the inside. On this, they were on the outside. I did manipulate it a little bit so that my sides matched. So you saw the same edge. Like this is like the knit side is on the front of my sweater, and then the purl side is on the back of the shoulders for both. So I did manipulate that a little bit. And then I noticed that a lot of people who had knitted the sweater for the larger sizes were saying they wish that the sleeves had been a little bit looser. So I picked up a lot more stitches for my sleeves than what my pattern, or than what the size I was making said to. Which is not hard to do. You can just, if it tells you to go down to basically what would be 2 stripes, you can go down 3 or 3.5 or 4 or 5. You can do however big you want. And then from there, I just followed the instructions for the decreases and everything, and it worked out fine. I noticed that I have short arms. Her arms are probably average to maybe a little long, but I think they're probably very average. I don't mean that to sound offensive, I just mean the length is normal, whereas I have like these stubby short arms. But anyway, I noticed that, and so I still wanted my sleeves to be long because I wanted the cuffs to come down on my hands a little bit. So I counted in the pattern photo, how many stripes she did, and I did the same number. So I did 17 total. Because after a certain length of decreases, it's just knit until it's so many inches short for your cuff. So I just looked at her picture and did that here. So I just love it. I'm so happy with it. And I had little BrownieKnits tags left over. So I put one of those on the bottom. And I'm wearing this hat today because I noticed in her pattern that she was wearing this hat and this sweater, obviously, and she had this hat on, and I was like, oh, I have that exact hat, and she has on a bracelet that looks exactly like a bracelet that I have. So I was like, no wonder I liked it. Like, we have very similar taste. So I'm just really super, super happy with this. I made the entire sweater in about 2 weeks. it was just a joy to knit. And I know that there has been a lot of discussion in the knitting community about the price of yarns. And I am someone who, you know, I've shown you guys some stuff from indie dyers today. I have stuff that is very inexpensive. Like those cloths are like $2. I got the yarn from a retail shop, half off, $2. Like sometimes there are times in my life where I can only go with something lower end, and sometimes there are times where I can afford to like go for something higher end, which is very much worth the time and the quality of the product that you get from the indie dyers. So we're all struggling right now with the pandemic, and I think there are good discussions happening regarding inclusivity and just, you know, kind of helping support each other. So, you know, that's kind of where I land on it. Sometimes I go high end, sometimes I go lower end, sometimes in the middle of the road. This one, I went, you know, maybe a little bit higher end because I knew I was going to wear it for probably 15 years. And we didn't do a thing this summer. So, you know, I was able to do that. So, and I understand that there won't be times in my life where I will not be able to do that. So, anyway, when I finished this up, I still had quite a bit of the midnight left. And I mentioned earlier that Lorelai likes her like clothing. So poor thing, she has such anxiety with thunderstorms and fireworks. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna go crazy the month of June and the beginning of July with all the fireworks. And so she has always like wanted to like lay on my neck, like strapped across the back of my neck or on my shoulder or on my head when she's scared. So it's just been kind of nonstop with these daily thunderstorms after all the fireworks. And it does help for her to have on clothing that kind of, you know, helps contain that anxiety. And then in the winter, she's just a cold little thing. So she very much likes to wear sweaters. And I had enough of the natural, which is the cream, and enough of the midnight, definitely enough of the midnight, to make a little sweater for Lorelai. So I made her a matching sweater. It's so cute. So here's what I did. This is not from a pattern, I just kind of did it myself. But I made it, the back piece I just did in stripes, but I did them in longer stripes for the midnight than the cream because I just didn't have as much cream left. And then in the undercarriage, I still did the stripe pattern, but I did it in the rib that you use for the sweater. I did her stripes in the solid like you would for the sleeve, but then the rib under panel, I matched the sweater for the rib. And I like to do that under there just because, you know, if she gains a little or loses a little, you know, has a little more fur because we haven't been able to get her into the groomer or whatever, it just has some leeway. And so I did that, and I matched up the stripes, which is not as hard as it sounds. It's just counting. And then I went around and used the cream and did a little turtleneck and back cuff all the way around, underbelly too, in the same rib to match. The turtleneck's a little bit longer. It's more the size of the sleeve cuffs. And then just because I was concerned about running out of the cream, I did the bottom and then around her legs at about half the length of that. So I'm not planning to release it as a pattern simply because it's really tailored to her exact size. I did write everything down. So here's what I'm willing to do. If you have a dog that is a similar size and you're an experienced knitter who can look at what I did and then adjust it on the fly for your own dog, I'm willing to like send you a snapshot of the 2 pages that where I wrote my notes. They're not complete. There's some shorthand. You'd have to decipher some stuff. But yeah. So there you go. And it's so fun. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm on this huge white and navy kick. So obviously from that, I had that. Oh, I wanted to say, a lot of people will ask me what needles I used for different projects. For that, I used my Knitter's Pride Marbles collection needles. So, I don't know, this kit is really, I got it as a gift years and years ago, and I just really like it. Obviously, they're interchangeable. Here, I'll open this really fast for you. So it comes with different length cables, several of the little, little locks, and then some stoppers and things like that. So it's like a little bag of all that stuff. And the needles for the interchangeable start at what, 4, and they go a US 4 and they go up to a US 11. And I like these needles. Yes, they're plastic. A lot of people don't like acrylic or plastic needles. For me, I really like them because I have Addies that I use quite a bit, so I do really like metals as well. I have some rosewood needles, things like that. I don't like bamboo. I hate bamboo. But for me, these are not like some of the other plastic needles or acrylic needles. I really like them. So, and I actually have a lot of the sizes in a 16-inch because you can't get the 16 in anything other than the fixed, and I like to use those for hats. So, yeah, that's what I use a lot. It's not all what I use, but it's what I use a lot. So, I mentioned that I'm on this like white and navy addiction kick here. So I wanted to make a bag to use for the summer, just carting my stuff around the house basically. So it has my knitting and crochet projects in it. It has my journal in it. It has my books in it, all this stuff. So I went online and found this bag pattern. Isn't it amazing? Isn't that fun? So, okay, so this is first of all, it's the large. There's 2 sizes in this pattern. This is the large. Let's see. The title of the pattern is the Nautical Knot Bag, and it's $5 online. It's a PDF download. It is crocheted, and she does use, pretty sure she uses US crochet terms. And then it's designed by Jennifer Pionk, Pionk, of A Crocheted Simplicity. I apologize, Jennifer, if I pronounced your last name wrong. Happens to me all the time. So I apologize. I know how that feels. And I crocheted it out of Lily Sugar and Cream. Again, because it was a bag, so I was trying to be economical, and that's actually what it called for, was a worsted cotton. So I ordered bright navy, even though it looks black, it's navy, and white. Now, I will say, I used a little more white than the pattern called for. I think that's because I messed up how I did my handles. I think I used more length, so then I needed more yardage. So that's just me. I did like this fun little like marbled button. And it's closed with like this little, you do like little skein kind of, ropes for the closure and then for the handles. So see how that's like kind of like a skein would be, a skein of yarn. And that's how the closure is as well. This bag is so heavy because it's so full right now. So that's why I can't just keep it held up the whole time. So that's how it closes. You start from the bottom of the bag, and I happen to have these feet in my extra like sewing stuff. So I went ahead and popped those on. You don't have to have those. I'm not really sure that the feet size I have does any good other than aesthetics. But it was fun and I didn't have another use for them. You make the bottom of the bag, and then I had like a plastic form that I'd used for a sewing project. So I cut that to sandwich in between the layers to give the bottom of a bag some stamina, and she outlines how to do that for you. But that was nice that I had like a couple of the things already in my like craft stash that I could use for a project and then, you know, not have sitting around the house anymore. So that was kind of fun. Let's see, I said that this was the large. Okay, this bag uses linked double crochet. And I have never done, I've been knitting since, or crocheting since I was in 2nd grade. I had never done linked double crochet before, and I don't know why I hadn't. So linked double crochet, you can find all kinds of videos online to do it. She describes it in the pattern, but then also tells you where you can go and look, and then you can also just like pop it into YouTube and find different places. It gives you this, so let's see, from here down is the link double. It gives you this like really solid fabric, whereas double crochet, you have all those gaps. With linked double crochet, you don't have that at all. It's so nice. So I highly recommend learning it and using it for things. And it's really nice, especially on the bottom of the bag, because you've got that density. And then on, I was nervous about this part, but it worked out just fine. On the side pockets, you put on grommets. So here you can see. And then you cinch up the pockets and you have like this nice tied pocket with grommets. And I saved the grommets, if I can find them somewhere in this bag, so that you could see them. All right, so can you hear Lorelai scratching to get back up? So the grommets that I ordered were from, honestly, I don't know if I ordered them from Joann or if I ordered them from Amazon. I just searched online until I found them because I'm not doing any in-person shopping right now. They're from Dritz. And she tells you in the pattern what size. I think this is the same size that I ordered, the 7/16. Okay, so here's what it looks like in case you're scared. You shouldn't be. So you'll have these 4 pieces. So you have like the grommet itself has a front and a back. Looks like it's got these little teeth on it. So you'll sandwich your yarn or your project in between these two, between your front and your back. And you layer them on this little anvil thing. You put them on there and you have this little tool and it fits into, I don't know the proper terms, so round thick thing and this little tool, and then you hammer it until it's sandwiched with your project and the teeth are like flattened and grab so that the front and the back stay on. So I will admit I'm kind of a little bit of a weakling when I was hammering. So I got them on there and then I had Patrick like give it a few good hammers to make sure that they were on. That's all there was to it. It was so easy. I think of all the like bags that I didn't make that had grommets, and that's what stopped me from doing it, and it was super easy. I crocheted, if I can find it for you, I'll show you that I crocheted the bag using a USH hook. And I wanted to show you guys because it's my Luke's crochet hook. So you can see from Gilmore Girls, it's got the Luke's coffee mug and then the no cell phone, and then a little coffee mug at top. These crochet hooks that are from Etsy. So if you go to Etsy and Google Gilmore Girls crochet hook, I have like a set of 4. So I have like Luke, Lorelai, Dragonfly Inn, and Rory. And they're just kind of fun. I like them because they actually help my wrist because they do have the thickness to them. So anyway, I thought that was kind of fun. I'm just going to look and see if there was anything else that I wanted to go over. I think that's about it. So yeah, those are the projects and everything. I already have some stuff that I'm working. Remember, I did say I'm on this white and navy kick, so I actually had ordered some less expensive yarn when I had planned to do just a top-down striped white and navy, and so that's what I'm knitting now. So hopefully by the next podcast, I'll have that to show you. Yes, that's fun. So if you have any questions, if you want to chit chat about anything, you can catch me on Instagram as BrownieKnits. I have a BrownieKnits Facebook page, and I am on Ravelry as BrownieKnits as well. And I think that's all the pages. Yeah. If you're a reader and you want to connect and chat about books, you can find me on Goodreads. I'm Gina, Gina, and Knaus is my last name. Kanouse, not Cahoose, not Canoose, Knaus. So anyway, not that it matters, I'll answer to whatever. All right, so that's all I have for you guys this month. I hope that you are all happy and healthy and safe, and these are definitely trying times right now for a multitude of reasons, and I just really hope that everyone is doing well. So I'm off to have a little birthday puppy party, and I'll share some cute photos of Lorelai up on Instagram, I'm sure, in her new I don't know, collars and flowers. So happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy reading, happy life. So, all right, see you next month.